Gamers, it's been a strange 2 days, okay? Got banned from Twitch. We got back our Twitch. I made a video about each topic, and I didn't get a chance to do this video, which I really wanted to make, which was about Labrynth. Now, before we get into this, I do want to tell you, don't worry about the Harpy Tapestry. I know you guys are used to seeing my Valentine's face right here. It's going to come back, okay? I just need to get new tapestry stickers because I moved my setup. So don't worry, it'll be back soon. Now, with that being said, I also want to ask you to maybe subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. I mean, just, we could just get there. All right, so here is the list I've been playing. It's Labrynth Resonator. And yeah, the Resonator package is not massive. It's only 4 cards, but it does make a pretty significant difference. And it also enables you to play a lot of synchro monsters that you normally wouldn't be able to play. The main attraction for Labrynth right now, the big thing that's making Labrynth big again, is transaction rollback. And this card is really interesting. It definitely pushes the power of Labrynth, undoubtedly. But I will say, it's not as broken as I thought it would be. It is crazy that you get to do Big Welcome more than once per turn, or that if they Ash Big Welcome and you have this card set up in grave, you can just go Big Welcome again. But also sometimes, it's just kind of in your hand with no way to discard it, and it's kind of a dead draw. So, I mean, I do like this card, and I think it's an absolute must-run in the deck. But, I'm running 3, I'm running a lot of ways to discard it, and even then, sometimes it feels like it's just clogging my hand. Not to say it's always the case. Most of the time, you have a way to get rid of it, and it's really, really good. It gives you some nice setup in the graveyard. But yeah, I don't know. Not as crazy as I expected. As for the Resonator engine, I already kind of mentioned that, you get access to synchros and stuff. But the real reason that you want to run this engine in here, which I'm running 2 Crimson Gaia, some will run 3. I think both are very justifiable. I ended up just I didn't want to run 3 because I wanted to run Ice Dragon's Prison. And that was the only card I could see in this list that was like on the chopping block if I was to run 3 Crimson Gaia. So I ended up going for 2. And I mean, honestly, this is still really, really good. Basically, Crimson Gaia is an extra copy of your furnitures because Soul Resonator can search level 4 or lower fiend monsters, which includes furniture. So basically, the general idea, right, is that you can go Crimson Gaia, search Soul, normal Soul, search Labrynth, Chandelier, or Stovey Torby. And yeah, that's basically it. They're extra copies of your furniture. So by running 2 in here, you're basically running 1, 2, 3 extra copies of your furniture, bringing your count from 4 all the way up to 7. That's a pretty massive difference for consistency, and you definitely feel it in this deck. I was actually doing really, really well with this deck, but I did have some challenges. So before we get into any replays, any live gameplay, or any of that, and I won't be doing a combo showcase for this deck because this is not really that type of deck anyway, I will say it's not like the best deck in the game, I think it's probably like the top of tier 3 or like a low tier 2 deck. Honestly, Labrynth seems better when other people play it against you than when you actually play it. And yeah, now I kind of understand why whenever I'm facing Labrynth players, they're like thinking for a long time. Because after hours upon hours of testing this deck, I'm kind of seeing like it's not really that easy to play super optimally. I went kind of crazy. I got a 9-game win streak with this deck. But then I also got a massive loss streak because I was about to make it to master rank. Got a massive loss streak and went back down to Diamond 2. And then it was kind of like win and lose, win and lose. Right now we're on a 4-game win streak, but before this win streak, it was kind of like give and take. And a lot of the time, your hands are not absolutely ideal. That's kind of the deal with a trap deck, right? Sometimes your hands are just kind of like big monsters and a couple of traps that don't achieve much. And that's just kind of what it is, especially with rollback in the deck now. If you don't have a way to discard rollback, it can definitely add to the brickiness of certain hands. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you're just popping off with some bullshit and, it's just easy money. But anyway, I don't want to dilly-dally too much. I just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts because I don't want to imply that this deck is like tier 0 destroying the meta. But we have the Duelist Cup starting, and I do think, Labrynth Resonator, really good pick if you're looking for more consistency instead of more explosiveness in your Labrynth deck, because that Crimson engine really adds a lot of consistency to just seeing your furnitures and getting at least your basic Labrynth setup pretty much every game. So for replays, we're going to start off with a pretty cool one. I actually managed to set up Baronne de Fleurs turn 1 on top of like a big welcome. So I thought that was a pretty cool setup for a turn 1 for Labrynth, so I wanted to show it off. So I go Crimson Gaia, grab Vision Resonator. I go Ariane discard rollback. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason we're running 2 Ariane in this build is because it's more odds of drawing a card that will get rolled back into the grave. So yeah, pretty good here. So we go Ariane, discard rollback, summon Ariana. Then I'm going to go Ariana, search Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. I'm going to use Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. And because I control a level 5 or higher dark monster, I can special summon the Vision Resonator from hand. Now, you might be looking at my hand and you're like, man, when you use your Chandelier, you're going to have to discard Ash. That sucks. But that's not the case. Because when Vision Resonator hits the grave, you can just search another copy of Crimson Gaia, which you can then discard for your Chandelier. So that's kind of crazy, right? You get discard fodder from this too. So I make myself a Baron de Fleur. And then we're going to get the trigger of Vision in the grave to search ourselves a copy of Crimson Gaia. At this point, I can go Chandelier and keep my Ash. So we're going to set the big welcome Labrynth, and we're going to pass turn. So what are we playing against? Okay, this was not the easiest duel either. We're playing against Tyr, and I'll say another reason that I don't think this deck is like insanely top tier right now is because Tyr is not an easy matchup for this deck. Now, of course, you can get your full setup, you know. If you get your full setup, then yeah, you can get your Dimensional Barrier, and then you can just like shut off Fusion, and that's awesome. But that's not always the setup that you get with this deck, you know. So in this scenario here, didn't have access to that, couldn't really set up a way to get myself into that dimensional prison, or sorry, it's barrier, right? And because of that, it's actually pretty challenging to deal with Tyr without popping Tyr names. Now, I think I did rely a little bit on probability this game, but either way, when they go King of the Swamp, I decided to Ash. Okay, so my logic might have been bad here. I decided to Ash the King of the Swamp because, well, for one, I didn't know that it was not a once per turn, the search effect. But also, I kind of thought like, okay, Polymerization is super broken in Tyr, and if they go Polymerization, it's going to bait out my Baron, because I kind of assumed this was Tyr as soon as I saw King of the Swamp. And yeah, that was basically my reasoning. And then there was also the idea that if they have called by, they'll called by Ash right now, so I don't have to think about Ash when I go big welcome. So that was like the plan B if they called by it. But yeah, anyway, so probably not the best move in the world, but whatever. They go Grief here, send the Havness to the graveyard. Then they go Havness effect. I'm going to negate Havness here. I'm just kind of hoping their hand is not stellar, I guess, because it's not like I have like infinite interruption, right? And then they're going to go for another King of the Swamp. I felt pretty stupid here. But I am going to go big welcome right now. And here my opponent kind of has a brain fart. They go Heartbeat, targeting Crimson Gaia, which I don't even really understand this play. My point anyway for going big welcome was like, okay, so I guess I can try to maybe snipe the Poly. Because at this point, if I let that resolve and they do get Poly and they have all the materials they need in hand, I'm probably losing. Poly is just so broken in Tyr. Obviously, I don't know what's in their hand, but, you know, if they have, like, a Sharon or pretty much any 2-tier monsters, I was in a lot of trouble there. So that was kind of my logic, and, yeah, I don't know. This dude was kind of just mashing buttons here. So he goes for a Heartbeat, discards the Rhino, well, sends the Rhino Heart to the grave, and we get our Lovely, and bro just scoops. So I don't know if bro didn't have another tier card in hand for the Rhino Heart and just didn't think about it. Either way, I mean, I'm not here to diss anyone, but I mostly just showed that replay because I wanted to show that I summoned Baron turn 1. That's not going to happen all the time. Now I'm going to show you a replay that's a bit more like your typical game. All right, so this replay is going to put, you know, just in perspective, the whole Crimson engine as well as the rollback. And this is really as standard as it gets. This is pretty much the most common starting board I had. So basically, what's going on here, we're going to start off, well, we have already the Soul Resonator in hand, so I'm going to go Crimson Gaia to potentially bait out an Ash, and also, if not, just get some more discard fodder in my hand. We're going to go Soul Resonator to search the Stovey Torby. Stovey Torby, discard the transaction rollback so that I can set the big welcome. So yeah, this is as basic as it gets, and this is what the Crimson engine usually is going to look like for this deck, as just an extra copy of your furniture, right? So, you know, we've got the big welcome, and we had 2 other traps in hand, which is obviously really crazy. And there we go. That's about it for us. We passed turn here. Now, they go for Harpies Feather Duster. Oh, no. I call XCs, okay? I call XCs. You want to know why I call XCs? Because I'm seeing a 40-card deck. So I have a feeling that it's not a Fusion deck, because a lot of Fusion players like to play over 40. So I'm just inferring here. And I see a 13-card extra deck, which is pretty suspect. So at this point, I was like, either this is a terrible Kashtira player or it's Numeron, right? So they go Harpy's Feather Duster. I go, no problem. I'll be able to activate Big Welcome 2 times this turn anyway because of the transaction rollback in the grave. So all we're really losing here is the Ice Dragon's Prison. And I do want to point out, by the way, if it wasn't an XC's deck, I could just activate Dimensional Barrier again, declaring a different type because you can transaction rollback this card. So you could go XC's, and then you find out it's a Synchro deck, and then you go transaction rollback, declare Synchro. So very silly stuff here. But anyway, so yeah, we're playing through Harpies here with Labrynth. We summon out the Ariana, and then we get to trigger the Stovey in the grave. Now my opponent is going to go Droplet on Ariana, discarding Reload. At this point, I was like, what the hell is this dude doing? So anyway, we get our Ariana Forbidden Dropleted, which is just insanity, but whatever. So we get back our Stovey Torby. Then they go Raigeki. We get to go Stovey Torby, discard itself and the Soul Resonator, and we get to grab a Welcome Labrynth. Now, this was a misplay, and I want to point that out, okay? I really do need to point this out because I feel like an idiot. Like, if I just went Stovey Torby, discard Vision Resonator instead, Vision Engrave will search another copy of Crimson Gaia, you know? So I would have, like, plussed, well, I would have been less minus, or I would have went even, I believe, if I just did that, right? So kind of makes no sense to discard the Soul here. It's just kind of stupid, but whatever. It happened. But anyway, we get Raigeki. Oh well, you know, it is what it is. Then they activate Numeron Network, and their XC is locked, so we don't really have to do anything about that. In end phase, I am going to go for the rollback to grab my Lady, just so I can use Lady on my own turn after I activate Welcome, just to, you know, have even more pressure on the field at that point. So here we can go Welcome Labrynth, trigger Lady, and just get another trap on the board, you know? I'm just kind of like trying to cover all my bases here, so we get a Daruma Cannon, just in case. Just in case. Grab our Lovely. And I think I miss Lethal here, so we go Lovely Effect, grab our Big Welcome, special out the Vision. We can make a Chaos Angel, banish the field spell, then the Vision Resonator will search a Crimson Gaia. Afterwards, we can activate Crimson Gaia, add back our Vision Resonator to our hand. Okay, yeah, this is what happened. I didn't realize, and I locked myself into Fiends, so I couldn't make Baron here. That's what happened. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. We still get to do a lot of swinging, a lot of damage, and we have so much control over the game at this point that obviously Numeron player just kind of can't do anything. I mean, you know, they go for the field spell, go for Big Welcome, bounce, and we just pop it before they can ever activate that field spell. We also get a bunch of triggers in the grave, you know. It's just kind of unfair, and I mean, to be fair, like, I don't think Numeron is even rogue. So shout out to this guy for playing Numeron and Diamond, I guess. Like, what a boss. All right, and finally for the replays, I do want to do at least one going second replay. So we're actually playing against Snake Eyes going second. Playing against Snake Eyes going second is never easy. Now, to be fair, our hand is very trap heavy, which is going to help. And I think our opponent doesn't get complete full setup here. So anyway, they go Poplar, Linkaribo, put Poplar in the back row, then they activate Wanted, which they should have done in the draw phase. Summon out the Diabell Star to fetch the Sinful Spoil Snake Eyes, summon out the Snake Ash, add the Jet Synchron to hand, then they go Snake Ash. Like, I think this is just a bad combo, honestly, like a bad Snake Eyes player. Anyway, Oak, send the Flamberge to grave, Flamberge effect, get a couple of things on field here. Use these two to make IP Masquerade. I mean, it's not that bad of a player. Still doing most of the stuff you got to do, right? Then they go for the Promethean Princess, bring back the Flamberge, put IP in the back row. So, you know, they have the IP Amphibious Swarm Ship pass, but you can definitely get a lot better than this with the cards they had access to. So, yeah, anyway, it is what it is. They also get a draw off of Wanted here at the end of their combo. So, you know, not terrible, not terrible. And here we go. It's our turn. So we're going to start by summoning Ariane. And they're going to go for the effect of the Flamberge to summon out the IP Masquerena. Now, I'm going to discard the Big Welcome. And my idea here is to hope that this dude is patient enough that I can just land the Lady on the field so that I can just bounce IP when he decides to activate IP. So anyway, going Ash Blossom here on my Ariane, and I do decide to call it by because I really want this Ariane effect. I want to put on a bit of pressure this turn. I don't know if that was completely optimal, but I don't know. It felt right at the time. I mean, my hand is pretty good for the next turn after, especially with the Daruma Cannon. So if I can just force him to do a bunch of summoning on the next turn, then Daruma Cannon is going to be a lot better than if he can just flip his Flamberge back face up. So they do let me summon the lady, and then they go IP. That was just foolish, honestly, but whatever. So we get to bounce IP back to the extra. Then we get to activate Ariane, search the Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia, search Vision Resonator since we have the lady on the field. I special the Vision. And I was kind of hoping that this would bait out the Promethean because this dude was really patient with the Promethean so far. At first, I was hoping, oh, maybe he didn't read Lady and he attempts to pop Lady instead. But at least he read Lady, right? So, I mean, it only made sense to get rid of my level 2 tuner, so I couldn't get into like my Chaos Angel or whatever I wanted to do there. But we do get the graveyard effect of Vision Resonator, and they get the graveyard effect of Flamberge to summon 2 from the grave here. So I get to add Crimson Gaia to my hand, and this is going to be pretty important. They get to go for Oak Effect, you know, go for Poplar. They're getting a lot of advantage here. It feels like it should be impossible for me to win this game, to be honest. But anyway, you know, get back the Snake Eye Ash, add Kurikara Divine Carnate, of all things. Then we get to go for King Caesar. King Caesar swing into Poplar. Okay, so obviously at this point, when they have so much advantage, and I can just get back into the grind game with Crimson Gaia, and I have this back row over here to help me the next turn, I'm kind of thinking I should go for Zeus. Worst case scenario, you know, I get to Zeus once, and then they're gonna, because they search the spell, let me see if I can find it here. They search, yeah, they search the Spoils of Subversion Snake Eye, so I can kind of force them to use this card on my Zeus, and then, you know, they'll just commit to a bunch of plays, and we can just kind of blow them out with the trap cards. That was kind of my idea, and that's kind of how it happened. So get back Flamberge in the back row. Already used the graveyard effect of Flamberge, so I really don't care about that. They summon it back. Literally doesn't do anything at this point. It is just Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's all good. And we go into our main man, the one and only Zeus. And now we're going to go for Zeus effect. Oh, also, I guess before anyone tells me, why did you set that card and then Zeus it? The reason I set this card earlier was to protect my lady because she can't be targeted or destroyed while I control a set card. I didn't set it only to Zeus it. I set it because I just wanted to make sure they could not Promethean Princess my lady because I was trying to threaten a Baron. But whatever. Anyway, we set 2 cards here and we pass on Zeus that they're inevitably going to put in my back row. So here they go. They're going to go for Subversion Snake Eye, put him in my back row. We have 2 trap cards to our names here. They're going to go for 1-for-1 here, summoning out the Snake Eye Ash. Ash, add to hand another copy of Snake Eye Ash. Or were you just playing 1 Poplar? Oh, you had Poplar in hand. That's what it was. Okay. So discard Poplar with Jet Synchron. Poplar target the Flamberge. Here I'm going to go for Dogmatica Punishment, targeting the Snake Eye Ash. And pretty good play actually here, going for the Linkaribo to stop me from popping both monsters. So yeah, that was actually pretty smart. And now using these 2, going to go into a Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix target the Daruma Cannon. Now, I had no idea that Daruma Cannon couldn't activate if there was no monsters that could be flipped on the field. It only makes sense, right? Because it says to change as many monsters on the field as possible face down. And then if either player controls face-up monsters, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the grave. So it only makes sense that you can only activate it when there's something to flip. I just didn't realize it. But anyway, so they do get to pop Daruma here, summon out the Poplar, search the Sinful Spoils. And if we take a look at their graveyard here, they've got 1 Snake Ash, 2 Snake Ash, 1 Poplar. Oh, that's your 3rd Snake Ash. That's 1 Oak. That's a 2nd Poplar. This is a 3rd Poplar. Are you playing 2 Oak? Are you playing another level 1 Fire Monster? Oopsie. Gotta go to battle phase. Gotta go to battle phase. So yeah, we basically ran this dude out of resources with that Zeus on the turn before, which is amazing because otherwise we would have definitely lost here. But we get to go for Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia, add back add from deck to hand our Soul Resonator. Then they're going to go for Droll. That is an issue. Thankfully, we have Ice Dragon's Prison. And they're going to go for Linkaribo and then put the Poplar back in the back row. Not really, I don't really understand this play, but I mean, it is a play, I guess. Regardless, they're going to link up into a Nightmare Unicorn, targeting my Ice Dragon's Prison by discarding. And at this point, I can just grab their earlier summoned Nightmare Phoenix, but they actually decide to Ghost Bell my Ice Dragon's Prison. Now, to be honest, in this matchup, I think Bro should have probably just held the Ghost Bell, but that just kind of shows a sign of desperation. So at this point, feeling super confident, feeling like I pretty much have it in the bag next turn. Once I get my Soul Resonator on the field, draw into Coup Clock, doesn't really do anything for me. We can also go Soul Crimson Gaia again. This card is crazy in the grind game because you can use it every turn and add back the dudes from the grave too. But anyway, Soul Resonator, add the Torby. Then we can go Coup Clock, chain Torby. And yeah, this is where it gets pretty crazy, right? So we get the Torby effect to set the big welcome. Then we can trigger the Coup Clock to special summon it onto the field. And we can activate our big welcome Labrynth and summon out the lovely Labrynth. So lovely mommy, add back to hand my Coup Clock. And now we can trigger Lovely, we can trigger Stovey, and we've pretty much got this in the bag at this point. I think you guys can tell, like, there's really not much else that can be done here. We're going to pop the card in the hand, and I'm going to try to add back a trap. They're just going to scoop it up, as they should, honestly. But yeah, I think those were all pretty good showcases. Now, obviously, you're not going to win every game, and I do feel like this deck has some pretty bad matchups. For one, I think Kashtira going first kind of shits on Labrynth, to be honest. The things that they set up make Labrynth really hard to play, especially now. I feel like before, Labrynth could play into back Graveyard Hate a lot better, but when you're dedicating 3 slots of your deck and a lot of your strategy to just getting rollback in the grave, when you're playing into Arise, it makes it a lot harder. Also, just that Arise Banish is honestly a pretty good interruption into Labrynth when they're trying to get set up going second. And also, Tearlament, I think, is just a bad matchup for us. As for Snake Eyes, yeah, I mean, I guess for Snake Eyes, is more so just depends on who's going first. I feel like Kashtira, even going second, doesn't do too terrible into Labrynth. Depends on what they have in hand, obviously. And just because they can keep spamming their summons, so just removing their monsters from the field won't always win you the game. Flipping them down will, however. And as for Tearlament, well, I actually think Tearlament, even going second, is just in a pretty good position against Labrynth a lot of the time. Anyway, with that being said, let's hop right into some live gameplay. All right, 5-game win streak. Let's see if we can keep it going. This hand is absolutely insane. Wow, insane. So I think that was Maxi. Let's go Crimson Gaia. I think that was Maxi. Crimson Gaia is cool. That's cool. It might also just be Labrynth. I'm going to get Vision Resonator just because even if they negate Ariane, we have another big welcome that we can just set. Okay, so it is Maxi. So now we know. Now I'm feeling a little bit of regret. I'm not going to lie. So what I'm going to do, yeah, we're going to go Ariane here. Discard big welcome. Yeah, I don't know why. I was a believer there, you know? That would be foolish. Instead, nope. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go for Ariana. We're going to go for the most basic of setup here. Get them back at 5 cards in hand. It's like nothing happened, you know? Nothing ever happened. We're going to go for the most basic of basic when it comes to this deck. Welcome and big welcome set, you know? I could, right here, if I wanted to, I could make Baron, but that would give them 2 draws. I really don't want to do that. I'm just going to pass. Just going to pass here. Not really the deck to be giving opponent a bunch of card advantage, because that's kind of our whole shtick, is trying to build card advantage, right? So let's see what we're up against. I'm going to be patient here. I kind of want to see something on the field. Okay, it's Snake Eyes. Is that reassuring? Not really. Yeah, we got this. So we're going to go Welcome. We're going to go Welcome. And we already have Lady, so we're just going to summon Lady right now. And we're going to be able to set up Daruma Cannon, which should be game-winning against this deck. That's basically what we're going to go for here. So summon out Lady. I'm just going to search Coup Clock, honestly. I'm just going to summon another Ariana and search Coup Clock right now. Ariana, search me my Coup Clock. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So they have 1 Ash. Hopefully they don't have the other Ash, because that would be pretty shitty. Okay, there was no chainable there, so hopefully they're not just like, you know, chains coming. Yeah, that would be too early on the button, wouldn't it? Yeah, we're not gonna rush it. We're gonna play it patient here. Let's just go grab the Coup Clock. Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, what if we try sniping it from hand? But that's probably wishful thinking. Possibly wishful thinking there. And I don't think we really need to be that much in a rush. We can kind of let them set up until they're threatening Baron or Appaloosa. We can just kind of wait. Right, so What did they grab here? The field spell? Oh, see, I would have liked to pop the field spell, but I think the field spell puts a monster in the back row on activation, so we can't actually stop that. Yeah, we can't. Well, what we can do, actually, we can just get rid of the flamberge they put in the back row. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll just do that, actually. I'm going to go for a big welcome right now. And hopefully they don't have a chainable here. Hopefully. Okay, they don't. That's awesome. We're going to go lady. We're going to grab Daruma. And we're also just going to activate Kuklok right now, because why not? All right, I think we've got it on lock. I mean, I don't really see how they beat this. I really don't. I really just don't. So here's the Daruma Cannon. Set this turn. The Daruma Cannon is like the game-winning card for Snake Eyes. That's the anti-Snake Eyes card in the deck, at least for me. There are other more targeted ones, but I like that it has applications in most matchups. And here is my lovely... Lovely. Hit the field. Love the animation. Gotta love the animation, right? Here's Lovely. And as for the card I'm bouncing, I'm going to bounce an Ariana. We're going to get a buttload of advantage here. So here we go. We can go for Lovely effect. Now, obviously, we already searched with Ariana, so we don't get the Ariana stuff. Actually, yeah, we don't get much advantage at all here. Yeah, we don't. Oh, well. Anyway, let's go for that. Go for that. And special a monster to the field. Nah, I don't think so. Okay. Then for the pop, destroy a card in your opponent's hand. No. Honestly, what if I just pop Ash? Like, I'm done summoning this turn. I'll just pop Ash, actually. Yeah, I changed my mind. They committed to their normal with Ash. I just pop Ash. I mean, if they have access to Sinful Spoils, that's great and all, but they're still going to have to play into Daruma Cannon. Here, if they go Link Rebo, put this dude in the back row, that doesn't achieve anything. Yeah, I don't think it's really worth. I don't think it's really worth popping the Flamberge here. That was my plan originally, but actually it's probably just better to just get rid of Ash and not even have to think about his effect at all. And I mean, based on my opponent not doing anything here, yeah, if you're going Link Rebo here, I'm going to assume I'm right. Okay, to be fair, I filled my monster zones, right? I couldn't actually play around Anima, right? So it's fine. I mean, honestly, this ain't even a big deal. Like, what do you do? Like, beat over Lovely? Like, whatever, right? Not that big a deal. Oh, you did have it. All right, that's cool. That's totally fine. Totally fine with me. I think what we do is we'll go for it on Oak. Or... oh, man. I would like to wait longer, but I kind of also don't want them to get Promethean in grave at all. Yeah, so here's Oak. We're going to let them Oak summon. Yeah, you can Oak summon here. Oh, what? Wait, why did you not go for Oak effect there? Oh, boy. Ooh. Whew. That's frustrating. They know it's Daruma, so I get it there. Yeah, they're just like, why would I use it? You have Daruma. But what's their follow-up after? They already used the Sinful Spoils. Diabel, maybe? I'm just going to go Daruma right now. I mean, obviously. Going to get rid of this dude at least so that, you know, they can't just use it for link climbing. But this does kind of screw me over a little bit, not going to lie. I guess maybe I should have used it on Oak then. That was kind of a misplay. I mean, they didn't activate it on Summon. I knew that. And yet I just ignored it. Oh, and now they get 2 because they send with Diabel. Ooh. Now we have a real-ass duel on our hands. This is a real-ass game that we have on our hands right now. That's crazy. Okay, so they'll get the summon 2. And that's why they didn't use Oak. It only makes sense. They're setting up the trap for Diabel. And here they can summon Oak and actually use Oak effect. They'll get their Promethean. And Promethean can bring back Flamberge. Can Flamberge force face-down monsters into the back row? Okay, it has to be face-up at least, so actually the fact that it's face-down means they can't just back row my Lovely, which I guess is nice. But they still get the full setup here. They're going to get the IP. They're going to... oh my god, dude. They're going to get IP. They're going to get... what else are they getting? Promethean Princess Engrave and potentially Appaloosa. This deck is so resilient. But I did kind of misplay there. It was definitely my fault, right? Because... pretty sure if I just flipped everything face down when Oak hit the field... well, no, not really, because then they still went Diabel Star for Flamberge. So they were just kind of winning there. Or not winning necessarily, but they were playing through that regardless. Damn, that took a while, dude. I was literally waiting like 15 seconds for this dude to do something. Okay, so Dark, the Dark Charmer. It was like just quiet. I was just waiting. So Dark. Target Coup Clock. That's fine. You going for like an access code line here or something? That's really strange. I mean, surely you're not trying to go for lethal, right? Oh my god. It's Celine. No shot. No way. So remove 3. I think they get lethal, man. I'm starting to worry they might actually get lethal here. They get Diabelle Star back. Okay. Then it's what? Access code, wipe everything? How many links? You just have 2 attributes of links. You just get 2 pops with access. So what is it? Like access IP? Access and then Promethean? I mean, this is not good for me, but it's not unplayable. They do have the Omni Negate trap, which might make it unplayable. Yeah, so get rid of Lady. Take your time, man. It's all good. It's all good. It's all chill. I'm chilling, bro. It's all good. And whether I win or lose, I think I'm going to leave this duel in because I think it was an interesting duel. And, you know, sometimes I get criticism that I only include my W's, which is true because a lot of the time I just want to showcase what a deck does. So I'm not super interested in like showing you like, oh, it loses to this and this and that, because there's like infinite things decks lose to. But, you know, that point taken. You know, we can include some losses sometimes. All right, battle phase. So they popped the wrong one. So we're just going to take 2,000 damage. It's not the end of the world. They have the Omni Negate trap. They're going to swing for 2k. And I'm guessing they're going to make IP Masquerena after that. Either that or they go... Oh... Now that's interesting. Okay, so here's Flamberge. Man, what a strange duel. Now you are going to get your Promethean. Did you get your... You did get your Graveyard effect. What did you just grab? Oh, you... Oh, you... Man... I do not appreciate that at all. And I think their trap counts as removing a monster from field too, so I think they will get that lovely effect. Not looking too good for me. I'm gonna go Gaia right now. Grab Soul. And I should have Stovied in end phase. I kind of lost my concentration there. Special Out Vision. Oh boy. Really wish Big Welcome could bounce her back to my hand, but it cannot. Man, not using Stovey in end phase there. I was just waiting to do that, but I forgot. Let's go Ariana. You gonna negate? Okay, negate. Alright. At least they didn't grab the lovely too early. So what I'm actually going to do here... Yeah, this is kind of good for me. That was kind of a mistake on their part. We get to do this. And I believe the second effect of this card does not lock you into anything. No, okay, this card doesn't lock you at all. Oh, okay, cool. So we should be able to make Baron here. How good that is going to be, I'm not exactly sure. And we do get back Welcome. That's actually pretty huge. Okay. So get back Diabelle Star. So what are you sending with Diabelle? Probably this guy to get the 2 summons, I'm guessing. Dude, see, this is why I didn't want to include any of live duels. I don't know how I'm going to get this video to like under 50 minutes. This duel's taking forever. Okay. Here's my Welcome. I don't know why dude is not grabbing Lovely. Like, refuses to grab Lovely. I'm really confused about that. I guess in a way, it kind of enables me to get her back in the grave, and he probably doesn't even want me to do that, so I guess fair enough. Okay. At this point, Chaos Angel. Oh, we are locked. I don't know where we locked ourselves. Oh man, I'm losing concentration. It is what it is. I'm sure someone in the comments will cringe at me and tell me, what do you mean you don't know how you locked yourself? It is what it is. We're going to go Chaos Angel for sure. We're definitely going to just banish Flamberge here. And then Vision Resonator. Oh boy. I mean, we're still in here, you know? Like, it's not like we lost the game here. We're still in there. Grab the Crimson Gaia. And we banish. Okay, I mean, shit, we're making progress. We're going to go to battle. Swing into that. Probably going to Ash Wanted. Yeah, I think I'm going to shotgun Ash Unwanted. Man, what a crazy duel. And we're going to go Stovey here. I'm going to lose my second Gaia because we don't need it. And these cards in hand are a bit better to have, I would say. And, wait. I'm actually going to go for Labrynth. We don't even have Lovely. I don't really even see the point in getting big. And then we can go Kuklok. We won't special. We'll just add it to hand. Oh my god, dude. Oh, they ran out of gas. So yeah, I think I have to leave that in. I mean, that was just a crazy game and a pretty good showcase of the resilience of this deck. I mean, that was insane. That was just really tough to play through. I'm sure I did a lot of misplays. I'm not like the most skilled Labrynth player, but I hope still this video is useful to just kind of show you the new stuff in action, I guess. Now let's go do the card by card. All right, so here we are. We're on a nice 6-game win streak in Diamond 1, and we could probably make it to Master if we kept pushing, honestly. This deck is really solid. Like I said, I think it's very good. I think it's like the top of tier 3 or like a low tier 2 deck. I think it's definitely crazy, and most likely like probably in the top. Like it has to be tier 2, even though I think it has its issues. I think it probably has to be tier 2 because I'm pretty sure Labrynth should be considered like at least top 5 decks in Master Duel right now, probably. So yeah, definitely a really crazy deck. Let's just go through the cards here. So we have Kuklok, 3 copies of Maxi, 2 copies of Stovey, 1 copy of Vision Resonator. Vision Resonator is kind of your enabler because it special summons itself while you control the big bodies here. So it can be really nice to extend plays, and also it searches Crimson, so it's a good discard target to add another Crimson to then get another discard fodder, you know. 3 copies of Ash, of course, you know, it's Maxi tax. 2 copies of Chandelier, 1 copy of Soul Resonator. This is an extra copy of your furnitures that you can search with Crimson Gaia. We have the 2 Ariane. We're running 2 in this deck, like I said earlier, just to be able to discard the transaction rollback. 2 copies of Ariana. Basically, most people would probably play 3 Ariana, 1 Ariane. I just found myself wanting more ways to discard rollback, so I bumped down the Ariana to add another Ariane. 1 copy of Lovely, 2 copies of Lady Labrynth. We have the Nibiru. Nibiru, man, I feel kind of stupid running 1 Nibiru. This is probably a remove, honestly. I'm going to have to replace this card. Not a must play. I'll just say, not a must play. It's not great into Snake Eyes. It's obviously not good into Tier. It's not good into Labrynth. It barely ever resolves against Kashtira. Like, I don't know, man. I think Nibiru is just not super good right now. 1 copy of Prosperity. I'm not running Extrav in this deck because I found myself wanting to actually be able to have access to my Synchro package, you know, when I'm using the Vision. But, you know, you could also replace Nibiru for a Pot of Extravagance, and that probably would be quite good, honestly. Maybe I should. 1 copy of Labrynth, of course, the 2 Gaia. 2 Called By. I see a lot of people not running Called By. Don't really agree with that decision. You don't always get rollback in the grave, dude. You can't always just not care about Ash. I know, like, people will go like, what? Why run Call By? You just roll back and just do it again. But like, you really don't always get access to rollback in the grave. One thing about rollback that kind of sucks is that it's not like, you know, yes, it is searchable in the deck in the sense that you can search it with Lady and put it face down on your field, but you kind of hate to have this card face down on your field. Labrynth doesn't have a lot of ways of popping their own back row. 1 copy of Dimensional Barrier. This card, if you set it up, is really good into Tearlament, really good into Branded, obviously, really good into Kashtira, and Synchro decks like Super Heavy Samurai. It can help a lot. So I think this is like a must run in the deck for sure. It's like one of the greatest strengths of the deck. I'm running 2 Imperm. I mean, 3 Imperm is great, obviously, because it's a really good hand trap. I just figured, you know, since you can, like, recur it in this deck and search it and stuff, like, I probably don't need more than 2. We have 1 copy of Dogmatica Punishment. Obviously, Punishment is crazy. We have a lot of targets for it, actually. We'll talk about the targets after. 1 copy of Ice Dragon's Prison. This is, like, the flex spot trap, I would say. This is, like, the trap that's replaceable with something that you would prefer. I really like Ice Dragon's Prison. I think it has a lot of applicability in a lot of matchups, and it also triggers the the Labrynth effects. So I really like having this card around. 1 Welcome Labrynth and 3 Big Welcome. I know a lot of people like to run 2 Welcome, but I really like the 1 Welcome, 3 Big Welcome. I think this ratio makes a lot of sense. It works really well. This card recurs itself anyway, so you get to activate it multiple times if you need to. I really don't mind having it at 1. I kind of like it. 1 copy of Daruma Karma Cannon. This card is my anti-Snake Eyes card. There are better ones out there, but they don't have as much applicability into different matchups. Obviously, earlier, the Daruma didn't exactly win me the game, but I'm sure it helped, right? And obviously, the 3 rollback, we've already talked about this card at length. In the extra, we have Entis, which is a really, really good target for Dogmatica Punishment if you need to remove 2 cards from the field. We have the Garura. We have Malong here. If you send Malong to the grave, you can bounce a card to your opponent's hand. It's also actually pretty useful in this deck because, you know, you can use it to synchro climb. So you can like make Malong with a level 2 and a level 4. You know, you make Malong, and then using this and another level 4, Malong is actually a tuner. So you can use Malong and a level 4. So, you know, if you have like Ariana, Ariane, and Vision Resonator, you can make Malong, then go into Baron, and you get a bounce on top of it from this going to the grave, right? So Malong, I think, is pretty good. I like Dawn Dragster in this deck because it actually does come up somewhat often that you can make a level 7 synchro. I wouldn't say it's a must run. It doesn't come up all the time, but I like being able to make Dawn Dragster when I have like Soul Resonator and Ariana on the field because it can definitely be useful as a nice little extra interruption, right? Omega, I actually mostly run Omega as a target for the punishment. Omega is kind of nice because you can use it to shuffle back the Promethean Princess in your opponent's graveyard. So that's basically the main reason I run it, is like if I'm setting up against Snake Eyes and I can afford to, I'll probably just send an Omega just to be able to shuffle that. Then we have Baron, obviously, Cheng Ying, and Chaos Angel, just our honorary level 10 synchros. Chaos Angel is extremely important because it's the only one you can summon into your Fiend lock as well as into your Dark Synchro lock. And then we have a DDD package here, just a small DDD package. The Wave King Caesar plus the King Tell into Zeus. Got Baguska, you know, it can come up. It hasn't come up for me once, but it can come up. I was just testing this one, Mereologic Aggregator. I figured, you know, it'd be kind of cool if I could use my Dogmatica punishment as like a negate by sending Aggregator. But I'll be honest, this has not come up for me. It's just kind of a budget option just because I didn't have 2 copies of Chaos Angel. So I was like, you know, I'll just try Aggregator. Then we have the Zeus, obviously. The Muck Raker. This card is amazing. Super good. Super useful. Especially helps at going for games sometimes. And we have the Azalea. This is just for removal. I also don't think this card is a must run, or like, I guess people would say it's a must run for niche scenarios, but for me, it hasn't really come up to use this card. So, you know, if you don't have the UR dust to spend on this, just don't. And yeah, that about wraps it up. I hope this video was helpful. I mean, it's been so long that I haven't covered like a trap deck that I feel like it was kind of hard for me to do it. Like almost like I'm just like not sure how to talk about trap decks anymore. It's been too long. So hopefully this video wasn't too messy, and I'm used to talking about wombo-y, combo-y decks and just, you know, yapping a bunch. But here it's less about combo lines and it's more just about playstyle. So hopefully the video was enjoyable. Thank you. Leave a like and subscribe. Peace.